I switch my mind to something else, switch my mode into something else. Stone cold killer. You gotta put yourself in that cage. When I'm in that cage, bro, don't touch me. For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time.
Up before the dawn, ready for Judgment Day. A lethal underdog, walking on to make 'em pay. Woke up feeling dangerous. That stuff so contagious. We got 10 toes down, so let the haters say what they say.
If you ain't orange and brown, you don't matter anyway. Woke up feeling dangerous. That's us. We got that dog check. Found it away. You made the right bet. If you're doubting our game, we give our last breath. One more play, and we'll make another name. We're ready for Judgment Day. Against the world. My city is on the brink. Tonight we're about to go. I'm hearing the crowd begin to rise in stereo. Sky's bringing Armageddon in off the lake. Thunder rolls, and all the people shouting out a name. Cleveland, born to fight and believe in. We ride or die, hear 'em screaming. Every boy and girl. Cleveland against the world. Watch my city rock, feel my city roll. Watch my city rock, we go Cleveland, born to fight and believe in. We ride or die, hear 'em screaming. Every boy and girl. We are Cleveland, born to fight and believe in. We ride or die, hear 'em screaming. Every boy and girl. Every boy and girl. Against the world.
All right, everybody. How's everybody doing today? We are live. It is now week 6. We are rocking and rolling, and we're 3-2. We got the Cardinals in the house. A bunch of wild, crazy stuff going on this week with COVID and everything going on. We've got a lot of really cool news, about our players who are all playing, but we will have Bonzo1273, Mike Restano here in a second. I am here with my dad. Dad, how you doing? And what are your thoughts on today's game?
Wow, yeah. Another week went by pretty quick. This next week is going to go by pretty quick too because we're on Thursday night. So it's either going to be a rebound Thursday nighter if we lose today, or it's going to be, a quick week and look forward to another win, 2 in a row, on Thursday night against Denver at home. So this is a critical game. Again, it pits us against one of the top teams in the league. The Ravens are doing pretty good against the Chargers, sort of like we did last week in the first half. I don't know what the score is now, but they were up, at least 2 touchdowns. And they made it look easy in the first half. Chargers couldn't do anything. So I hope we have and need our A game today. Maybe a B+ will get the job done as well, but Baker's got to play well, Hunt's got to play well, and the defense has got to step up. If those things happen, we'll be okay. We got to contain Kyle Murray. We got to protect the edge. We got to blitz and be more aggressive. I hope the play calling's better, especially in the red zone. We need we need touchdowns. We don't need field goals. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I hope we keep Murray off the field by long drives, running, and that'll depend on the offensive line and Hunt and the play calling. I think somewhere around 27-20, 24-20, something like that is my prediction.
Awesome. I know Mike's joining here as well. Just as before we get started, we've got a subscriber goal. We're trying to get to 5,000. We have a goal by the end of the year to get to 5,000. We'll change that. So everybody, if you happen to be watching this or happen to be watching late, you're not a subscriber, please help us out. Hit the subscribe button. And then everybody else, hit the like button so we can start tweaking that YouTube algorithm and get ranked towards the top or on the suggested videos. Mike, how's it going?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Doing pretty good. It's Browns game day. We're about a little over an hour away from kickoff. Excited,
Yeah.
What are your thoughts so far? What are your thoughts on the game?
Well, to me, it's an odd one. You've got, all the COVID things going down with the Cardinals, obviously. No coach, no quarterback coach. Chandler Jones. I think there's a couple other guys. And I believe a little bit earlier, their defensive tackle, he tested positive, so he's out. I know they have like a I don't want to say upgraded, but I mean, it is like an advanced COVID protocol when you start getting to this point where, you've got multiple people testing positive. And then on our side, you're down both tackles. I have to be honest. I mean, we talked about it on the Wednesday show. Hance did a really nice job. I mean, he was the 5th highest rated, player on our offense, and he played 72 snaps. So I think we're okay on the left side. And I think it's a tall task to put Hudson out on the left side as a rookie, but I think he's okay over on the right side. And I think he could hold his own out there. So it's going to be windy. We'll see what Chase has in terms of the kicking game. But I feel it's like a 24-17 Browns kind of game, and they win. They have the advantage due to home field. That's sort of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, we have quite a few of our defensive players playing this week, so I don't expect it to be, the cardiac skids again this week. I fully expect it to have a decent time and hopefully being able to get to Kyler Murray. But really, that's a big thing. I mean, he is, so far right now looking like MVP caliber season. And, that's always been the challenge for us is those those crafty, escapable quarterbacks. And Kyler Murray this year, although he's made a couple little mistakes, I mean, they're 5-0. You know,
Yeah.
and you know how I was just thinking about this. You know, we go to 17 games this year, right? And we get flexed a game. And guess what game we get flexed? The only 5-0 team left in the NFL is the game that we happen to get. Meanwhile, Baltimore gets to play all of their their out of conference games. It seems to be like at home.
Yeah.
Where we have to go travel to all of them. It just like it doesn't make sense to me.
We got a home game out of it. I mean, it could have been worse. Could have been away.
It's true.
Obviously, 16 teams are going to have an extra flex home game and 16 are not. So we won the coin toss on that. Again, if we can't beat these teams when we're at pretty much full strength, well, then we don't deserve to be in the playoffs. We're just kidding ourselves. So you have to beat some of these teams. Baltimore is taking it to the Chargers. I think they're up 24-6 now. So, they showed up to play them, and the Chargers so far haven't. So, it's in our destiny to make or break. So, and we can control it if we do well. If not, then we'll leave it up to other teams to control our destiny.
So let's check. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, I totally agree. And, you look at the schedule gods and they were very friendly to the Ravens to say the least. I mean, especially, have us go out there and then the Ravens get the Chargers back home, which, I mean, it was ripe for a letdown game. And sure enough, here we are. But to your point, Dan, is that's fine and dandy. But if we take care of business in our own division, I mean, obviously we have to win games outside of it as well, but we take care of games in the division and games like today where you're looking at the schedule and you're like, well, that's, I don't want to say not fair, but it's really, favors the Ravens. But again, if you take care of your own division, then, these games we won't even think about these games later down the road.
Absolutely. Really quick, just giving a shout out to everybody. Steve Z, Max Nikolenko's here. Mr. Roll Up, Typical Gamer 2002. Jake 08311. American Saxon, Ryan Burlow. Hambone. Who else is in the house? Derek Jones is here. Chubba Wubba Hub.
The dog is here too.
Bonzo is here as well. Yes.
Bonzo is in the hizzy. Dog check. Right.
Yeah, he's fired up for the game, as you could say.
Checking in on the early games, we had the Jaguars in epic fashion take out the Dolphins, which is actually a fairly interesting game. That is one where they had to go to London, and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are trying to be in competition. They're trying to compete this year, coming off a really strong season last year where they just barely missed out on the playoffs. And then to lose to the Jags, their first win since week 1 of last year has got to be a huge letdown for the Dolphins and really kind of a kick in the teeth to that fan base and everything down there. So I don't know if you guys caught that game, but it was kind of
a little bit.
Yeah, I like I said before, I love these London games because they're always these like somewhat irrelevant games, but it's like a little bit of football when I wake up in the morning and I'm hanging out. I'm like getting ready for the show, getting all my stuff ready, and I'm like, let me throw one of the NFL games on one of my other screens. So I actually like it quite a bit.
I agree with you.
Vikings are winning currently 12-10 over the Panthers. Third quarter, Panthers have the ball on their own 35, 11:36 left in the third. Ravens, as we just said, Ravens are taking care of business against the Chargers. Again, it could be that flight across country. It really could be.
Yeah, I think so.
That knocks people out.
Yeah, and I mean they were in a battle with us last week, so I but you know what? It ebbs and flows. Like, so if we're who we are. Now we come out today after a game like last week and we're hungry. We just missed, and you smack the Cardinals in the mouth and we keep on rolling. So I think today is a is a very good measuring stick to see, where we are
Right.
as a team, and I think also where we are. We're surely going to see the depth on the offensive side of the ball. So Chubb out, both tackles. So we'll see what we're made of today.
Yeah, absolutely. Rams are taking care of the Giants 28-3. Colts are taking care of the Texans 24-3. Chiefs and Washington are in a close one. 10-13 with 6:48 left in the third. Chiefs ball on the Washington 42. Packers 17-7 over the Bears in the middle of the third quarter. And then the Lions are now winning 20-0 against the lowly Lions. Lions are fighting to be they're fighting for that crown of worst team in the league.
Yeah.
The Lions are really fighting. So, and then our game kicks off at 4:05. We're the only 4:05 kickoff today. The other games are Cowboys Patriots at 4:25, Raiders Broncos same time, and then you've got Seahawks Steelers tonight at 8:20, and then you got Bills Titans tomorrow. So somewhat interesting. I mean, if we get through this game and win, it'll be a nice one to sit there and watch the Steelers tonight. But I got to tell you, thinking about that, I'll give you my thoughts here in a little bit once we get to the Arizona Cardinals report. But, checking in on the early game, so far, the rest of the league is doing us no favors here. I would have thought the Chargers were going to be able to give the Ravens a much better game. Who knows? There's still time left. I mean, they could have a big comeback. They scored 28 points against us in the fourth quarter. So if they do that against the Ravens, then we're in good shape. But it's not looking like that so far.
No.
And then the Bengals, I mean, the weird thing is, Mike, and we talked about it in the beginning of the season, before the season started, the Bengals are a bit of a scary team. Not to say that I think that they're better than us or they should beat us, but they're one of those sneaky teams that you don't want to overlook.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's talk.
They're winning games. They're winning against teams they can and could beat. And today is just a classic. They're pounding the Lions, who have nothing. They have nothing going for them. They shipped their quarterback out. They got Goff from LA, and he's done zero. And I don't know about their defense, but they could be the next, 0-16 team if they can't get their act together.
Yeah, and you got they're currently 0-5. They're the worst team in the NFL now that the Jags got a win. Yeah. And Jared Goff today, 11 for 17, 47 yards and an interception.
47 yards. Wow. All dump passes. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty ugly. On the injury report, so we do have some positive news there. The Browns have this was tweeted out by Hayden Grove a couple hours ago. The Browns have a full complement of defenders today. Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, Malik McDowell, Malik Jackson, Anthony Walker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Sione Takitaki, Mac Wilson, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome II, John Johnson III, Ronnie Harrison, Grant Delpit. Are we missing anybody on defense? Oh, plus Greedy Williams, plus Tack McKinley as well. So I don't know if we're missing anybody on defense.
No, I think we have full complement. So
yeah.
That's good. We'll see how ready they are. Yeah. But that's good. So Joe Woods, no excuses today, buddy. You got to go out and attack. On the offense side, Mike, you were saying that we have Conklin and Jedrick. Are they both officially out?
Yep, both out.
And Chubb. And what about? Do we have a status on Landry yet?
Jarvis, they have not activated yet, but we talked about it on the Wednesday show. I didn't see it happening with 2 games in 5 days. I think
they had to activate him by 4 yesterday, and they didn't. So he's out.
Okay, so he's out.
All right. It wouldn't surprise me that he's activated tomorrow and he goes on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense. And then tell me about your plans. What's your plans for the Broncos game on Thursday? When are you heading into Cleveland, and are you flying? You driving?
Flying. Well, barring a Southwest catastrophe, we're flying. I don't want to jinx anything. I'll knock on wood, but Baltimore's a hub, so we should be okay. But regardless, let's just say we're in a perfect world and none of that nonsense is going on with Southwest. We should be, they actually, and I think I told you this, our flight was originally supposed to get in, I think at like 11 something. And then about 2 months ago, they rescheduled us. So now our flight gets in at 1:30. So essentially we'll land, get to the hotel, change, and then just head out to the tailgate.
Very nice. Yeah, we with this whole Southwest thing, my dad and I are flying Southwest, and I was texting you about it yesterday, or the other day. We're flying Southwest to the Browns game for the Steelers game, and I was looking, and I was like, I just want to check what the other flights are, because this is we have a lot invested between the hotel, the tickets, everything going into this game. I don't want to miss it, with a canceled flight and then just be like completely out of luck, because it's not like we can get in a car and pick up and drive. Like that wouldn't work at all. I mean, I guess it's technically possible, but that drive up there is probably like 16 hours plus, which would be just insane. So I went on Google and just looked for flights, and I found a Spirit Airlines flight for $20 each way, so $40 a ticket. Now, granted, we didn't do any of the extras or anything like that. So if we end up having to take Spirit, it was $80 round trip for both me and my dad as a backup. So this is the insurance policy in case Southwest doesn't work out. But if we're gonna have to put it into our clothes in a backpack and everything like that, because we didn't pay for any of the extra stuff. But so we do have a backup plan no matter what. So if we don't get there in Southwest, we will get there in Spirit. So
and I don't know if he told you this yet, Dan, but if you do have to go the Spirit route,
right,
you have the seat that you're straddling the hole.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The best thing about that, it was like, do you want to pick your seats? Like, even if you buy the seats together, like two adults on the order, you do not get to sit next to each other.
Huh.
So unless you buy the seats.
One of my golf buddies in Florida was the vice president of marketing for Spirit.
Huh.
And he was the one who invented all the charges, for extra baggage and preferred seating and no meals. And, he really cut them down to a no frills airline, and they did really well. They crappy service and whatnot and no frills, but he made a name for himself. And today he's actually running as the chief operating officer for Frontier.
Oh, wow.
Out in Denver. So, and he's turning them into a no frills operation as well.
Yeah, the Frontier was the other option too. Instead of it being like $40 round trip, it was like $51. So I mean, if for some reason, but Southwest and Spirit, then we have to fly. We have another option, so we'll get there. We're absolutely going to be there. Everybody's saying Isaiah Gassina, Frontier's rough. Yeah, I mean you almost have to do this kind of stuff. You have to just put your headphones on, close your eyes, and just count from A to Z. That's all you're trying to do. All right, so Cardinals report. Let's talk about the Cardinals a little bit. They are I believe they're without Chandler Jones. Mike, do you have confirmation on that?
Yeah, he's out.
Okay. Kingsbury's out. Their quarterback's coach is out as well.
I actually have the whole list here.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, dial that up.
Let me see what I got here.
So the interesting thing about this is, as has kind of been reported, Kingsbury's been the guy who's been calling the plays, and there's always that kind of interesting, a little murky pass between him and Baker with his time at Texas Tech and kind of how he did him wrong there, made Baker have to transfer, walk on to Oklahoma, where he went on to win the Heisman, get drafted first overall, yada, yada, yada. Kingsbury, now the coach of the 5-0 Arizona Cardinals, but he's the one who calls the plays, right? So it's almost like that situation in the Steelers game, the first playoff game, where when Stefanski was out and it had to then play calling it, had to go to Van Pelt, right? So I don't know what the situation is in Arizona. I don't know who's going to be calling the plays, but you lose your head coach and your quarterback's coach, which would probably be second in command, I would say. But I don't know the exact answer to that. So if anybody knows, or Mike, if you happen to know, or Dad, who's going to be calling plays for Arizona, I would love to know that. I was searching around. I couldn't find an answer. Anybody in chat, if you happen to know too, please let us know who's calling plays for Arizona.
We'll get a feel for it in the first half, obviously, and as to how that goes. And, if it goes well for them, you got somebody calling pretty good plays. If it doesn't, who knows? So it's all about execution for the most part anyway. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have a lot of it scripted too.
Hey, I was just looking at the inactive list.
Mm-hmm.
Chandler Jones isn't on it, so
he might go.
He is active, so I don't know if he had 2 negative tests. I didn't hear anything about that he did, but yeah, I was just checking the inactive list, and the only one that Ertz, Vallejo, Benjamin, Andy Isabella, and quarterback Chris Streveler. So Chandler Jones is active.
Here's the crazy thing about COVID and everything. So my son just had COVID. He's 10. He got COVID. It took him from last Friday till today, so a little over a week to go from testing positive to testing negative. Today he tested negative for the first time, so he's out of quarantine.
Yeah. And he was very sick in between.
Yeah, and he was really sick. He had up till yesterday, sore throat and fever. Up till yesterday, the light fever, but he had it. And my wife had COVID back in August, and she had COVID for a month almost, and could not shake it. So these guys that are getting COVID and getting over it in like 3 days, I don't understand how they're doing it, because it defies science to be able to get. I know some people do, but it just seems like, wow, they had guys like Chandler Jones who can get over COVID in 3 days and test negative, and then you have guys like Myles Garrett, who it happened to last year, who just was gone for a long time, and Myles Garrett had real COVID.
Yeah, if it gets into your lungs, that and your oxygen goes down, and Mike's wife Lindsay, that happened to her. I mean, that led to a form of pneumonia, and you really need to start the hard drugs and the antibiotics when you're in that situation, and obviously your breathing is paramount. But Max never got that sick. I mean, he had the sore throat and he had the high fever, and bringing it down with Tylenol and whatnot. So, but Myles got it bad in his lungs, and you could tell when he came back, he was huffing and puffing after 2 plays. He was not in good shape. Hopefully through the off season, he's built himself up. Whether it's done long-term damage to his lungs where he can't totally get back to where he was, I don't know. But he seems to be having a pretty good season so far. Yeah. And keep our fingers crossed nobody gets hurt today in the game.
Yeah, that's what they're
especially on the offensive side.
Right.
The Ryan Burlow saying they have good meds. They have, and Hambo says they get the best treatment. I'm sure they do. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're probably on everything, antibiotics, all the vitamins. I'm sure they have IVs that they have access to, so they're going to be hydrated nonstop. So let's see how it goes.
There, but the hospitalizations in Florida are going down. The cases are going down. The biggest controversy, I guess, at this point is the boosters, necessary, not necessary, who gets them, who doesn't get them, and the mandatory vaccines, which that led to to Southwest problem. It's being mandated by a federal judge. Not even the Bidens are doing it per se, so they can sort of look the other way. But if a lot of people start going out, unions, whatever, police officers, it's you think the supply chain is bad now. Wait until that happens.
Yeah, well, the supply chain of Arizona Cardinals players seems to be doing just fine, other than their coaching
Seems
staff.
that way. But
so, yeah.
But what's odd though? Hold on a second, real quick. So if I look at that, I don't know, because if you remember earlier, I was talking about they had a defensive tackle that tested positive and he's out now,
Right.
and he's not on this inactive list. So I don't. Maybe
Maybe
there's.
it's not that accurate.
Yeah, I mean, and that came straight from the NFL app. But yeah, to your point, maybe it's not as accurate as one would think.
Yeah, there's a website, Sharp Football Analysis, has a COVID tracker, and it has date added Chandler Jones 10/12/21, which was Tuesday. And then it has date removed. He hasn't been removed. And their defensive end, Zach Allen, 10/16, has not been removed either. Neither is Kliff Kingsbury. So all of them have not been removed from it with positive tests. And then you've got so it does appear that I would be surprised if Chandler Jones and Zach Allen are playing.
I haven't heard anything about positive test or negative test rather. So I think it's just they just missed it in that report.
Yeah, clearly. But the really interesting thing is it seems like every team, so the Broncos have nobody on the list, and the Steelers have nobody, and us. We're the only three teams that have nobody listed on who's gotten anything about COVID. So
hey, a little funny thing, totally non-Browns, but it sort of goes along with the whole whose mother, wife, girlfriend, fiance is social media-ing, if you will, about their husband, sons, fiance, boyfriend getting slighted on by fans and etc. And you know where I'm going with this, but I don't know if you saw this earlier, but I thought it was extremely funny. But apparently Mahomes threw a pick and it went off of Tyreek Hill's hands. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
And his mother tweeted that it should not count because it went off of Tyreek Hill's hands. So that interception rather shouldn't count against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Clearly, yeah. It should be wiped from the record.
Yeah,
altogether. It's ridiculous.
How dare they intercept him?
Yeah, my God. Well, at least it's not his wife. She seems to be kind of a pain in the ass, I think, on Twitter.
His fiance, Mahomes.
Oh yeah, his fiance and his brother.
The brother.
Yeah, it's just
throwing
like
water on people, and you don't hear a peep about him being banned from a stadium.
Nah, they're just that whole the Mahomies are a little bit out of control on the social medias.
Yeah, they are.
If you ask me, right? So,
anyway.
Checking in on some of the early games again. Chiefs now up 17-13. The Ravens are 34-6 now. The Chargers have no answer for the Ravens. So that game, I mean, put it in the books. Bengals up 27-0 over the Lions. That game, put it in the books. So now, really, this kind of puts a little bit more pressure on us if we want to maintain that competitiveness here in the AFC North. We get through this game, that's a big one. This is going to be a very big one. We're going to be down Nick Chubb. We're down 2 key offensive linemen, and so the backups have to step up.
Right.
I do expect. I don't know, Mike. What do you think we're going to get more Felton backing up and sharing the load with Kareem Hunt, or you think we're going to get more Dearness Johnson?
I was. That was something that was on my mind earlier, and I was trying to figure it out. And I think you'll see an equal dose of both of them. I think for me, I find this kind of interesting, and I'm not obviously taking anything away from Nick Chubb. I mean, he's fabulous. He's a stud. But I'm interested to see how Hunt works. And I say alone, but I mean, obviously Felton and Johnson's going to spell him, but I'm interested to see how the flow goes, I guess, if you will, because I mean, it's no secret. I mean, Kareem Hunt is a weapon out of the backfield when it comes to the passing game. So I'm interested to see how the ebb and flow goes with him in the backfield. When we get to those, third down passing situations and and what that looks like with a Kareem Hunt still in the game and in the backfield for us. So I think that's going to be interesting. But I do think you'll see Johnson pounding the rock, and I think you'll see Felton in there, maybe a couple of runs here and there. But I think most likely, when we do see Felton in the game, you're going to see him, out in running routes and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on who has a better game. They'll put them both in there. If one seems to click, breaks off a couple of 10-yarders, 6-yarders, 12-yarders, 20-yarders, then they'll focus on him, meaning Johnson or the other guy more and give Hunt a breather. So I think with Hunt in there, we're more likely to throw screen passes because he's good at that particular play, not only catching the ball, but then just making people miss out in the open field. So I'm hoping that with the aggressiveness of the Cardinals front four trying to get to Baker, that they leave themselves open for those little swing passes, as well as the counters and the screen passes.
Yeah, Johnson's actually pretty decent. He was great in the time that we saw him last year in a couple games. Cowboys, he stepped up and did pretty well when Nick was out. So it's definitely not going to be as threatening as with when you can put in Chubb and then Hunt and then Chubb and then Hunt. But Felton already proved that he can play in the league, and Ernest Johnson as well. So I obviously it's a step backwards, but if this is going to be Kareem's game where he's going to get a lot of touches, maybe for the next couple of weeks, who knows? He's had a great season so far.
Right.
I mean, this has been a
Johnson
really, really good season.
He's got fresh legs, hasn't played much. So he's got stuff to prove. He wants to move up on the depth chart. He wants to be able to be thrown in there. And now's his time to shine and make some plays. Let's keep the turnovers to a minimum, the tip balls, move Baker around. Don't let him take that 10-step drop and hold on to the ball too long and get sacked. Protect the edge on defense, and let's hope for the best. I'm sort of 50-50 about this one. I could see us losing. I can see us winning. If we had won last week and did our job, I'd say we're going to win this week. Having lost, I don't remember the last time we lost 2 in a row.
We have not lost 2 in a row in the Stefanski era.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if the whole team bounces back or just some of them bounce back. And then, like I said before, we got a short week. We're coming back on Thursday, come hell or high water. So let's hope we get out of this one unscathed and with a W.
Yeah. I think just to flip it over to the other side real quick, the one thing that we've been lacking all year is that explosive play in the back end of our defense. It's a matter of time, I think, with the talent that we have back there,
right, that
somebody makes a play. And when I say make a play, either takes it to the house and turns the tide, or takes it down to the 15 or the 10 and we punch it in. But I mean, we've gotten a couple picks here and there, and there was Malcolm Smith, his came in a good spot, but I mean, good teams, especially on the defensive side of the ball, we've seen it year in and year out. You have a ball hawk back there or several ball hawks, they could change the complexion of a game. And as of now, we haven't seen that explosive play on defense. Maybe today's the day. I don't know, but I think they're coming because the talent is there. But it's
I just hope we don't get. Yeah, I just hope we don't get burned with Murray dancing around back there. He buys time like any quarterback in the NFL. You buy time, you're going to be able to complete some passes. So if we give him that much time, we don't put the pressure on. We're not aggressive. We just put 4 people trying to get to him. It's going to give him a chance not only to escape and run for 20 yards, but then to heave that one over the safety's head, over the corner's head, and make the quick, 50, 60, 70-yard touchdown. And, God forbid we get behind. I think we have to stay competitive like we did with, we played a great first half against the Chargers. I went back and I just happened to see it on replay. I said, oh, let me watch the first half. I watched the first half, including getting a fumble just before halftime, and we got a field goal out of it. So, I mean, we played, relatively well. The breaks didn't go our way in the second half,
What's interesting about that, Dan, that you just brought that up is I think it was yesterday or Friday night. I don't know, whatever it was. One of those moments where you're watching something on TV and you're like, all right, what can we watch now? I'm getting tired. So I threw, we threw Building the Browns on, and I don't know, maybe for maybe the reason of I was still sick about the Chiefs game and I blocked it out of my mind. I literally, as they were going through that game, I looked over at my wife and was like, I don't even remember this game. And then all of a sudden I remembered it again because we were up like 22-10 at half.
Right.
And so to your point, I mean, we very well could be 5-0 right now. Sure. I mean, we had games in hand and we just found a way to lose. So these guys, it'll be interesting. I think these are the games that you have to, I don't want to say we're at a must win yet, but it sort of feels that way. And I feel like they need to sneak some wins out here, especially with being bitten by the injury bug, because if that defense could stay healthy, if we can rattle off 2 or 3 games, I mean, 3 would be ideal in this homestand, but right. Let's say you rattle 2 or 3 off and now, you're going back on the road and you're healthy, then I think that we could be kind of scary, but I think we need to weather the storm right now. And again, I don't want to say it's a must win, but they need to win this game today.
Yeah, if the Bengals win, Baltimore's going to win, and if Pittsburgh finds a way to win tonight and we lose, it's not a good weekend.
Yeah.
No, and if you look at a couple things, Kyler Murray, so far this year in there, they scored 38, 34, 31, 37, and last week they scored 17. These guys can score points. Legitimately can score points.
Right.
And you look at who they've been dialing up against. Tennessee, not the greatest defense. Minnesota, not the greatest defense. Jacksonville, of course. LA Rams, they give up points. And then San Francisco held them to 17, which is like the most, kind of pedestrian game they've played so far. They still were able to figure out a win. Mike, right. To your point though, I think as you were saying, we could easily be 5-0. I think we could be 1-4. Really the only game that we really kind of had in hand was the Bears game, yeah. Which I think probably Baker's worst game, right, so far this season. Yeah. And then because, the defense kept us in the Vikings game. Defense didn't keep us in the Rams game, so we ended up losing that. The Texans could have gone either way. If Tyrod didn't go out, the way that they were playing was not looking good for us.
No, I agree with that.
So, and then the Vikings game, we won, but it wasn't convincing by any means. So I'm looking forward to a game where we finally lay it to a team. Like if you look at like what the Ravens are doing, 34-6, the Bengals 27-3. These are games that are just won. They're won at halftime.
When was the last time we had a game like that? Because I can't remember. Even like we were just talking about 22-10 against the Chiefs. You're like, we can't. And again, it was the Chiefs at that time, or even last week against the Chargers. When are we going to see this team take a lead like that and then continue to lay the wood in the second half to where we're like just easy like Sunday morning watching the game, right? It's always a freaking struggle with this team. Always a struggle.
Yeah. Right? And that's the thing. It's like you look at these games, You look at the
Even
Rams.
the Steelers playoff game, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they came back. They made it a game.
Yeah, even with Ben throwing all those interceptions, I mean, it really came down to kind of one possession.
Yeah.
One possession and then an onside kick. And how many games last year came down to that as well? It's very stressful being a Browns fan. It's very stressful. You really, at any point, even being up 30 points, you're like, well, it's not over yet.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
don't
not
get
over
up
till it's
too early,
over,
don't
right?
Score
Yeah.
too early, that type of thing.
You blink, it's 30-24, and you're questioning your life.
Yeah, now you've got, okay, well, we're one it's a one possession game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we finally got a kicker who's making everything, and we still hold our breath. Like Mike said, it's going to be windy there, so playing the right direction is gonna play into this. And Mike, you were reciting to me the ending of the Dolphins game where the kicking was critical, for them to pull that one out for Jacksonville. They had to make 2 field goals over 50 yards to win it, and they did. Now you kick that into the wind, you can't do that. You kick it downwind because of the strategy and so forth. And they had a 4th down play, Mike, that you told me about that they made and just got them into field goal, and then they kicked the winning field goal as time expired. So let's hope our kicking game. I don't want to jinx him either. He's had a good year so far.
Yeah.
And he's made the extra points and the field goals. And let's wish him.
But that's the thing. I mean, like, kickers are going to miss kicks. Like, how many kickers go through an entire season without missing a field goal or extra point? Especially
the Charger guy missed it today. They finally score 7, a touchdown to get back in the game, and he immediately misses the kick. His 5th one that he's missed this year.
Yeah, that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely inexcusable to miss that many extra points and be a professional kicker. You know, it's like, I mean, go out there, get somebody else who can make the damn kicks. But we are in a good situation so far. Who knows? I mean, we don't have a Hall of Fame type kicker yet, but he's doing pretty good for us. So hopefully that remains strong. Cardinals have Matt Prater, and they also have Andy Lee, a good punter. So their special teams is going to be okay. I mean, the really interesting thing about the Cardinals as well, so J.J. Watt's out there having a good year. Kind of a resurgence of A.J. Green. A.J.'s playing okay. They have arguably, I mean, he's in the conversation being the best wide receiver in the league, DeAndre Hopkins. Right. Chase Edmonds he went to CD East, Dad. If he's from Harrisburg, he went to CD East.
Yeah, I remember.
So good running back Chase Edmonds. Kind of came out of nowhere and is playing really well. They also have Christian Kirk is playing really well for them. So I mean, they have weapons on offense, and Kyler Murray is a guy who can get their receivers the ball. I mean, he's a weapon. You think about him on the running side of the game. He has 3 rushing touchdowns so far this season. Not many yards. 20 yards the first game, 31 the next, 19, then 39, and then 1. So, I mean, in terms of yards, I mean, he's not lighting it up like Lamar Jackson where he's rushing for over 100 a game, but he's being able to get in. If they're around the 10-yard line, you got to look out for him because he could scramble and turn it into a touchdown. In terms of him passing, Kyler Murray's got 10 touchdowns so far in the season. That's half his rookie year, and he only had 26 last year, so he's off to a very, very good start. Completion percentage 75%. I mean, he's just playing exceptionally well for being a 5'10" quarterback, right? For everybody out there who's complaining about Baker not being big enough and everything like that, you got a guy who's 5'10", who's got the athletic ability of maybe one of the most athletic quarterbacks, again, in the history of the NFL, right? So, there's not that many that have this guy's athletic ability. So, I wasn't a buyer. I was not a buyer very early on in Kyler Murray, but I got to tell you,
I didn't think he would make it either. I thought, he's one hit away from being out for several weeks. I mean, Russell Wilson went out, and now he's gone, for on injured reserve for a couple more weeks with a broken finger or whatever tendon, and so they're going to miss him. It'd be interesting to see how what's his name plays in his place tonight against the Steelers.
Geno Smith.
Smith. I was really impressed when he stepped in the last game, immediately throwing the ball, poised, running. I mean, he kept him in the game. If his eye doesn't trip or get tripped up at the end, and his last pass got sailed through, and got intercepted, he could have very easily have let him down, and it could have been a win. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping he comes through tonight against Pittsburgh and plays well. I'll be rooting for him.
Well, if Kyler Murray goes out, Dad, do you know who the backup quarterback is on the Cardinals?
Flacco?
No, Mike and I were talking about this on the Wednesday show, and I didn't guess it either, but he is an ex-Cleveland Brown.
Boyer?
Nope, that was who I guessed. Nope.
Colt McCoy?
Cole McCoy.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what the best part of right now is? Is the fly guy decided to show up today. How about that? In the chat, talking smack at week 5 or 6.
He's the number one Browns fan amongst Ravens fans.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I think I think I got to be honest with you. I think he's a Browns fan, but he moonlights as a Ravens hater in a Browns chat, if that makes sense. I might have had that backwards, but you know what I meant.
Yeah.
We should ask chat for their predictions, Mike. Let's see where everybody's feeling.
Yeah, chat. Let's get some predictions on the score of the game. Let's dial it up.
I said earlier, low scoring, take advantage of our possessions, long drives, 27, 20, 24, 17, 24, 20, that type of thing. I don't expect us to score over 30 points, but then every time we do, it really surprises me. So I'll take them if we can get that high, but I'm thinking with that defense of the Cardinals, it may be some tough going.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Browns 41.
Wow.
I'm going to go Browns 41 and Cardinals 39.
Well, so I'm gonna go 2 things here. So before I get to mine, I'm going to say, first and foremost, if you are right, Mike, and that is the score, and OBJ doesn't have 8 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown or 2, it's going to be another miserable week on Twitter.
Yeah.
But to go a step further, as far as the score, I think it's like a 24-17 Browns win. I don't
low scoring game.
Yeah, and the Cardinals are a good team. There's no doubt about it. They're coming from out west.
They're very good. Yeah,
they're very good. I don't see this team losing to the Cardinals today.
I hope you're right.
After last week, I just don't see it. And I'll tell you, if we do lose, there's going to be a lot of second guessing in the locker room. I'll say that.
Here's the one thing. I know that the rest of the AFC North is playing well, and I know that we've had some rocky games. I don't think if we lose the game today to a 5-0 team, the sky isn't falling. There's so much season left, right? There are so many wins that are on our schedule, right? I will not think that this is it, and I'm not going to sell yet. But I will tell you, so far from what I've seen, I think there are better teams in the NFL right now than the Browns, which is just disheartening a little bit because, it is what it is. But there are teams that go on to win the Super Bowl who felt a little mediocre as well. There have been 10-6 teams who have won the Super Bowl. Right? You just got to get hot at the right time. You got to be healthy at the right time. And you have to have all the things moving in the right direction. But who knows? You can do that and become, the New York Giants or the Eagles. I mean, you can be those teams who do that. So, You don't have to be undefeated in the regular season, but you have to stay healthy, which has been a challenge for us. And you got to get hot at the right time. This is
Right.
way too early to say to count us out. I know that there are a lot of Browns fans out there who have not lived vocally, I guess you would say, have not lived through bad Browns teams like we have vocally lived through these teams. And so maybe they're not used to it, but I will tell you, I'll be upset. I always get upset when we lose. But it's not going to be the end of the world. We got the Broncos coming up. We got the Steelers coming up. We got the Lions. We got the Patriots. We got winnable games coming up in the future here, guys. So let's not all lose our
Let's
mind.
hope the Lions get off the schneid before we tackle them.
Yeah, it'd be great. Hey, let's do a giveaway. Let's do a Sabo apparel giveaway. We're gonna do, or you know what? Just because of time here, guys, it's 3:46. We'll do the giveaway. We'll do the giveaway in the post game show. So I apologize. We'll do the giveaway in the post game show. So make sure you come back for that. Final thoughts. I think that you're gonna see the crowd right now. Like all week, they've been talking about it. I put out a video on Twitter. The Let's Go, or the Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, clap, 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 clap. So I think you're going to see the crowd really into it. I think you're going to see them show that they support Baker. He's our guy, whether or not people think he's the long-term answer or whatever the case may be. I know there's a lot of people that are very passionate and want to see him be successful. So the crowd, I think, is going to be in it, and hopefully that gets him amped up and ready to rock. And we put together a good game. I am optimistic. I think we can beat them. And I think this could be one of those games that, people are counting us out a little bit. They don't think we can beat an undefeated team. This is another playoff caliber game. We didn't, although we gave up 47 points to the Chargers, we didn't score 6, right? We scored 42. So yeah. Dad, what about you? What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I just, like I said at the beginning, I hope Baker has a good game. I hope the defense shows up. I hope we don't give up quick, easy touchdowns. That really is so disheartening, so morale shattering to do that. So I hope we don't do that. But then again, I hope we don't play a safety 30 yards deep, and Woods comes up with a decent, aggressive plan. And if both the offense and defense play well, we'll win the game. It's as simple as that.
Yep, I agree. Mike, final thoughts?
So and look, I don't care who chants this and that and the other thing, but the one thing I will say, and if I could play devil's advocate here on that, and you could tell me if you agree or disagree. So the whole chant thing started because Emily Mayfield came out and said what she said, and Baker never came out and said, oh, the fans are haters or whatever. So Browns fans took it upon themselves to run with it because, that's just what we do. And we have to start a chant to make Baker feel good. So to me, while I understand, and fan is short for fanatic and whatnot, for me, this chant cheapens the Myles Garrett chant for me, because Myles got his name chanted, right? Because he broke a record.
Right.
He had a day, right? He had a day. So you have a day like that, and you better be chanting for that person. But so I don't know. It's kind of, it is what it is. Fans are going to fan, and no one can tell one fan, how to fan over the next. But that's just my 2 cents on it. But at the end of the day, for my prediction for today, again, I think we win. I don't think this team loses today. I really don't. I don't. This isn't, the Browns of 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I think they understand what's at stake today. I think the coaching staff understands, and I think they face their adversity head on in regards to, the tackles being out and Chubb being out, and I think we thrive on defense with everybody back in. we talked about it earlier. I think today might be that day that you see, a scoop and score or a pick six, something. I really believe that. But I look for this team to go 3-0 in this homestand. That's my feeling.
I'm rooting for you, Mike.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. that would be 100% excellent. So, all right, well, we shall see, right? We'll see. Can we hold on? If not, will the sky fall and will everybody lose their damn mind? We will see, but we won't see until the post-game show, which, by the way, we'll win. We'll do the Sabo Apparel giveaway. If we win, we'll do Victory Monday mug giveaway on the Wednesday show, all that kind of good stuff. Guys, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing. We're trying to get to our sub goal of 5,000, so we'd love to have you as a subscriber as well. Big thanks to everybody in chat. Fly Guy, Shoot to Thrill, Steve Z, Mike R, Jackie, Linda Morgie, Steve, who else we got? Fook Kami 69, Keith C, Ryan Stinger, Raj Kanufka, Isaiah Gassina, etc. All you guys, love you guys. Thank you very much for being here for the pregame show, and we will see you probably around 7 o'clock tonight for the postgame.
Go Brownies.
With that being said, go Browns.
Go Browns.